मॉर्निंग फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू आवर यूट्यूब चैनल विशाल IAS। अगर आप हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किए हो तो सब्सक्राइब कर ले लेटेस्ट नोटिफिकेशन पाने के लिए। इन आवर टुडे लेक्चर्स वी आर गोइंग टू डिलीवर अबाउट द Mendel's law. First of all, we see the autobiography of Mendel's. Now we discuss about the autobiography of Mendel. Now we know about who is the Mendels, how did they work. The full name of Mendels is Gregor Johann Mendel, who was born in 1822 and died in 1884. He did a 7 years experiment between 1856 to 1863. He did the experiment on a pea plant, Pisum sativa. He also conducted a plant hybridization experiment. Mendel is also known as the father of genetics. He used statistical analysis and mathematical logic. Mendel also collected a large sampling size. He proposed the law of inheritance in living organisms, conducted artificial pollination or cross pollination experiments, selected pure or true breeding pea lines. He also selected contrasting traits, which is in 7 pairs. Mendel was an Austrian scientist. He is also known as founder of modern science of genetics. He gave rules which is known as law of Mendelian inheritance, which was published in 1866. He demonstrating the action of invisible factors, which is now known as genes. He also experimented on hawkbees, honeybees, etc. Now we know about the why Mendel selected garden pea plant. Point number 1. The pea plant can be easily grow and maintained. These plants are naturally self-pollinating but can also be cross-pollinated. Third point. Pea plant is annual plant. Therefore, many generations can be studied within short period of time. Our fourth point, short lifetime. Fifth point, easy to transport and handle. And sixth point, distinct character clearly visible. And 7, it has several contrasting traits. Contrasting trait studied by Mendel's. Character, dominant trait and recessive trait, seed shape, round wrinkle, seed color, yellow green, flower color, violet white, pod shape, full constricted, pod color, green yellow, flower position, axial terminal, stem height, tall and dwarf. These are the 7 pair traits of characteristic traits of which was studied by the Mendel's. In our lecture now we deliver about the Mendel's law of inheritance. What is the Mendel's law of inheritance and how many Mendel's gives a law? We see that in our lecture today. Mendel postulated 3 laws which are now called after his name as Mendel's law of heredity. First is law of dominance, second is law of segregation, and third is law of independent assortment. Now we see about the law of dominance. Law of dominance. This law states that if there is 2 alleles which coding for the same trait and one is dominant, it will show up or express their character in an organism, while other is recessive which will not show up or do not express their character, or it will become hide or marked. Dominant character is denoted by uppercase while recessive character is denoted by lowercase letter. This is based on monohybrid crops. Examples: capital R, small r, red color, where capital R denotes the red color of pea and small red color of flower, and small r denotes a white color. Here capital R is dominant over small r, so capital R shows its effect while small r do not show its effect. Now we see that we are going to see about the law of segregation, which is the second law of Mendel's and is also known as law of purity of gamete. This law states that during gamete formation, alleles so each gene segregate from each other, so that each gamete carry only one allele for each gene. The gametes are pure lines randomly. Allele pair unite at fertilization. A gene can exist in more than one form or allele. Organisms inherit two alleles for each trait. When sex cells are produced by meiosis, allele pairs segregate or separate, or leaving each cell with a single allele for each trait. When the two alleles of a pair are different, one is dominant while other is recessive. This is also based on monohybrid cross. When homozygous tall plant is crossed with dwarf plant, we get the phenotypic tall and genotypic hybrid tall plant in F1 generation, and after the F1 selfing of F1 generation, in F2 generation we get the three types of plants, in which one is tall capital T, two is hybrid tall capital T small t, and one is dwarf small t. The genotypic ratio is 1:2:1, and in phenotypic ratio 3 plants are tall and 1 plant is small, so phenotypic ratio is 3:1. In this example, during cross fertilization, gametes capital T and small t unite to produce a hybrid capital T small t of F1 generation, but at the time of gamete formation, gene capital T tallness and small t dwarfness separate and passes on to segregate gametes. As a result, two types of gametes produces from heterozygous in equal numerosity. Now we see about the third law of Mendel. We are going to deliver our lecture on third law of Mendel, that is known as law of independent assortment. This law states that genes of different traits can segregate independently during gamete formation. In other words, it predicts us how a single feature associated with a single gene is inherited. In some cases, it also predicts the inheritance of two characteristics associated with two different genes. The alleles of two or more different genes get sorted into gametes independently of one another. The alleles a gamete receives for one gene does not influence the allele received for another gene. This is based on dihybrid cross.